Good morning, everybody. Good morning to everyone who is here, and thank you for joining us. As we're about to celebrate Pesach and have the opportunity to feel B'chol dar v'dar omdim aleinu lechalosenu, we have the opportunity to realize that it's not just words that we say on Leil HaSeder, but it's a real, living experience that Jews in every generation feel in some iteration. B'chol dar v'dar omdim aleinu lechalosenu. And our generation is no different. Our generation is no different in experiencing that aspect of it, but also in experiencing HaKadosh Baruch Hu matzilenu mi'adam, in experiencing the incredible miracles that God, that the Ribono Shel Olam does for us all the time, when He brings us from Avdus lecherus, miyagon lesimcha, me'afela li'or gadol, u'mishibud legeula. This morning we have an opportunity to hear a modern-day story of shibud legeula. And as Moran will share with us, she is not yet completely freed because unfortunately she still has friends, acquaintances, partners, different people who are there together who are not yet free. And that is what we continue to pray for, to daven for every single day. In all of our tefillot, you should know that every day of your captivity, and since that time, our community and communities around the world have cared so much, have loved so much, have prayed so much, and are continuing to be totally invested in your well-being and in all of your friends and family and everyone else who is so impacted by this tragedy. This morning we welcome Moran. You're going to hear her story. We're going to begin with a short video clip. Moran is going to speak. She will open it up for questions as well, and no one should be afraid because Moran has gotten on a public stage with Hamas sympathizers, with heads of Palestinian, pro-Palestinian clubs in many different universities. She won't be afraid of any of your questions. You have nothing to be concerned about. Moran has an amazing story of courage and resilience, and it's incredible that she's here with us this morning sharing her story and trying to inspire us to understand and to feel a little bit more of all that is happening. Please join me in welcoming Moran to our community this morning, and we are so grateful that you are here and sharing of yourself with all of us.
Moran, she's 40 years old, a young spirit, a positive person, who loves to spread lots of love and peace around her. She loves to have people, she loves animals.
It's very important for Moran to fight for animals. Her animals are waiting for her at home, and I'm sure she's worried about them. Moran is a great artist. In the past year, we discovered so many talents that my sister had and have. Her biggest achievement was at this festival, at this party. She prepared a beautiful table full of jewelries, and she was very proud, and she is still very proud.
Saturday morning, she managed to talk to my parents on the phone, telling them that they are being attacked and that people are running after them, and they had to run away, she and her friends. Last call that we got from Moran was about 8:30 in the morning. She's telling that they are being running from the terrorists and running away from the attackers, and that she's losing her battery. That's the last time that we heard from Moran. Later on, we tried to understand what happened since then, and we managed to find few friends that were with her, that managed to come back home. They told us that they were on the run. During that, they've been ambushed by a few times, and finally they had to split up. And the point of the split, that's the last point that we know that Moran has been there. Later on, many friends and family would try to find any clue on the social networks and on the internet, trying to figure out what happened there. And we found a clip which shows that Moran been kidnapped. And that's it. That's the last evidence we never heard from her since. So
Since then.
We're looking for more. We try to look for more clues, and that's the only thing that we know so far.
I believe in you, and I believe in your strength, and I believe in the world, and I believe that I will see you soon.
Of course. So Shari says I've spoken in so many places, but every single time I get excited, and I always tell myself that if I'm not, that's the next time I want to speak. And I'm very much excited, and thank you so much for welcoming me to share my story. My name is Moran, Stella, and I always start with this video just to show people that this is not a one-person story. This is my sister, and my brother, and my mother, and my father, and like us, so many other families in Israel, still today. Then I have some titles in life. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a mother of a walking and four, and I'm an artist. And in the past year, I became a speaker, and there's another title I add to what I already have. But my story doesn't start in October 7th. My story starts way before it. And it starts about 5 years before that, when I started that there is a better life, a better way to live life. And all I need to do is go out and learn more tools to become this better version that I want to be. Because there must be a way to wake up in the morning with a smile, and there must be a way to look at life better. And that was a beautiful journey for me, and I learned everything I could find. If it's the NLP and the CBT and every lecture that they even think about, if it's the Buddhism and going back to the Kabbalah, to the Torah, and then met this beautiful journey. And by the time that I arrived to 2023, July 2023, I was already in my big high. I was in the best shape, mentally, physically. Everything was amazing. Everything was lighted. And I took on myself on my 40th birthday. I took on myself my best challenge. And I bought myself a plane ticket to Canada. And I was preparing myself to go by myself to there without choosing no hotels. I don't know who I'll meet on the way. But I called it, and I wrote it down on my journal. I called it the challenge to surrendering to the unknown. Completely understanding that something is protecting me and something is guiding me. And all I need to do is open my eyes and trust the way. And that's how it was. It was beautiful. I met a chain of people, and each one introduced me to another. And with each one, I closed another circle to become that better version that I want to be. Well, everything was so amazing. And between those people, I met this 22-year-old girl. And she saw all of my jewelries because I started to become a jewelry designer. And she was so excited. She said, "Do you have a shop? Do you have a website?" I said, "I'm just starting." Well, she said she had the best opportunity for me, but she introduced me to the Nobel family. And there is this Nobel Festival coming up in 3 weeks. And that should be your best starting opportunity. I told her it's impossible. It's 3,000 people, and I assemble all my jewelries by hand. Each one is different from another. But you know, what I learned is the all impossible, the impossible can be very much possible if you'll just choose to. I worked day and night for 3 weeks. And by the time that I arrived October 6th, I came in two heads. In one hand, I had my entire shop ready to go on the floor. And I was so excited, so proud, and just waiting for the hour to get to leave the house. But on the other hand, I'm a very spiritual person, and I had so many hunches that I tried to resist to, until a point I grabbed the door handle, looked at my friend, and I took a deep breath and I told her, "Please, let's not go. Let's stay home." And she looked at me, she smiled, she said, "I'm very much excited. This is my first time. Let's pack up everything and go to the party." This is my first festival to go, and I don't work on Friday and Saturdays. but everything seemed so weird, and I couldn't explain it, but it just agreed with her that I'm excited, and we went on the car, we got everything, we got a location, and started to go. When we arrived to the Nova, I didn't see anything. I didn't see that there was 2 dance floors, I didn't see that there was 2 bars, I didn't see anything because I was taught that where my focus is on, that what will grow. So I was focusing my shop. And I did it, and I took a step back, and this is the first time I see my dream coming true. I was extremely proud. And I stayed next to my shop the entire night. And another hour passed by, and when the producer came, they said that I have this amazing shop, but they don't think that the merchandise will do to 3,000 people. And all I heard is that I'm going to sell everything. So I was very, very excited. But again, another hour passed by, and nobody came to the market. That was very weird. And at some point, some of the friends that I met during the night, some of them closed the light on their shops, went to dance, some of them went to sleep. I found myself covering up with everything I could find, looking for hot water and a tea, and that's how I spent my hours that night. I was sitting down next to my shopping cart, drinking tea, waiting for the people to come. But nobody came to my shop, and nobody came to the market. And I was very much confused. Well, when I'm confused, and when I'm looking for some kind of message or sign, I just do my private conversation. So I looked up to the sky and I said, "Hi, you're not working on Friday and Saturday, but can you please give me a sign? Send me any message that can clarify what I feel right now." I didn't finish the question. I was handed with the physical note that second. But before I saw the face of that person, I opened that note. And in the note it said, "There is logic in the craziness, and there is no life without giving life, the scale of life." So I was even more confused. So when I looked up, I saw that old lady, 66 years old. Her name is Moran. She comes to all the parties with all of her children. And she stopped, for some reason, she says she gets messages the night before, writes them down on notes, picks people randomly, and gives them that note. All the people that received notes from her that day was either a warning, or a guidance, or protection. So that was my note. And it made me even more confused. I'll share something new. A few days ago, that was published in Israel, new footage of how we looked like on that night before everything started. And that was the first time I saw what I was speaking about the past year and a half. My whole body language was closed. I all the time looked to my back. I couldn't understand what I feel. Well, 6:20 arrived. And 6:20 brought with me this beautiful sunrise, a very peaceful moment. I'm reminding you that this is my first festival, and all I saw at that moment was 3,000 people sharing the same frequency, no judgment, different ages, different occupation, but at that moment, everybody was with the same purpose, being happy, being free. And that was beautiful. So I remember that I took a step back and I said in my head, I said, you know what, nothing happened today, but I am grateful. I'm grateful to witness that moment. 9 minutes after it, everything tore down with 2 rockets in the sky. And I'm sure you've heard so many stories by now about that moment. I had severe panic attacks, one after another. And I learned in time that when I'm having a severe panic attack, all I need is to find the right person to look at, and he will give me the sense of proportion of what is really happening right now. I didn't find that person because it was completely chaos. Some people ran, and some people kept on dancing, And some people screamed, and some people were laughing. And we are good Israelis, we just wait for that conflict to end. But it doesn't end. My run, I ran for 5 hours, totally, trying to avoid this destiny that waits for me. The 5 hours, we were completely hopeless, and nobody taught us how to be hopeless or gave us tools to deal with those kind of situations. I noticed that the battery is about to run out, and I decided to do one thing with it. So I took a huge breath, and I tried to stay as calm as I could. And I called my father, and I said, Dad, this is not a joke. We're being shot at, and we need to get off the cars and go hide in the trees. He didn't understand what I was saying. I repeated it again. He didn't understand, and I didn't want to scare him. So I told him, forget it, I'll talk to you later and everything is okay. My mother, that's a whole different story. My mother is Moroccan, and when I don't have a good answer to you, I don't answer the phone. Well, she called, and I couldn't answer. So I texted her, I don't have battery, I love you. But I didn't want to say goodbye. Of course, I don't have nothing to say goodbye to, right? So I deleted that love you part. And then those are the last words that my parents left me. I'll talk to you later, I don't have battery. We got off the cars, we found a tree, 5 people leaning on each other. Very sure that the person that sits next to you really knows how to run this event much better than you. That everybody's scared, and you understand really fast that this is your own situation. Well, till that point, I want to explain something. I served in the army 22 years ago in Givati in Hamas War. I served on the border of Gaza and sometimes inside Gaza. I know all the sounds of the artillery, and I know the way and the rules that is allowed to us how to fight. What I heard until that point was everything. All the ammo you can think about, everything. But it was just sounds. At that point, those sounds turned into screaming in Arabic, and that's reality coming towards you. Our group, like my brother said, split for some reason. Some of us kept on running straight, some of us turned back and thought we were hiding. 1 second of silence, and then we hear cuckoo, peekaboo, like you surprise your children. We looked up, we see a bunch of terrorists standing on top of that mountain, screaming, Allahu Akbar, God is great, coming toward us. I was the last in line for, I don't know why, but I was the last left there. The terrorist was about to close on me with an iron pipe in his hand. And I always say that something took over me at that second. Something possessed me at that moment, and something acted for me. And if till that moment I show anxiety or fear, then from this moment on, I want you to know that our thoughts were really fast. You don't have time to think. You have time to choose and act really fast. I jumped, I hurt my leg, I looked to my right and I don't see my friend anymore. Looked straight to my left and pretended to be an Arab. That's the first instinct that came out for me. I had 3 words in Arabic. I had an Arabic necklace on my neck, carrying my name, Stella. I received her as a present a month before the Nova from my Egyptian supplier. I'm half Moroccan, half Egyptian. My grandma, my beautiful grandma, she used to speak to me Arabic till I was 17. I was taught Arabic at school, and Arabic was not a foreign language in our house. I was carrying that necklace, knowing it would drag so many comments, but I thought that I'm showing only the Egyptian side. Well, my mother had a different agenda, she didn't like it, and on Sukkot holiday evening, she asked me to take it out. And I told her, I feel I need to keep it on just a little bit longer, and then I'll take it off, I promise. Well, this necklace, she saved it twice. I was caught 3 times. The first 2 times I pretended to be an Arab, showing that necklace, using 5 words in Arabic, using tons of manipulation, and for some reason that I can't explain till today, they decided to release me. I found myself in the middle of a potato field, with nowhere around me. I hear nothing anymore, and I felt like in a nightmare. And I chose to do the one thing that was not allowed to do it that day because I didn't really understand what is happening. I didn't accept it. And I chose to scream really hard, really strong, help me. Well, the wrong group heard me. I looked at my back and I see 13 Hamas terrorists running towards me, and I'm by myself. And something is talking in my head saying, let go. I remember that I replied out loud and I said, what should I let go to? And then that's it. I sit down and wait for them. When they came, they pulled me from the tree, all 13 of them, and there was no talking anymore. It was very much aggressive, very much violent, and they started to drag me towards Gaza. I had many jewelry on me. And at that point, one of them, he decided to rip off the jewelry that was on me. And it was my necklaces and my bracelets and my rings. But when he reached to my left hand and he ripped the bracelet off, he accidentally cut my hand. And when I looked to my hand, I see, and I still have it till today, I see the first letter of God's name, Hashem, the A. All I see at that moment that it's not bleeding, it's red, and it's very clear. And what's going on in my mind is, do you remember that you just said that you surrendering to the unknown, knowing that something is protecting you? How much faith can a person have at that moment? Well, I looked it up, and I let go of everything. I let go all of my muscle, I let go of myself mentally. And we went on straight. At the beginning, we were walking by foot, and then after they kicked me out, it started throwing from one to another. And for me, that's already the worst case of it all. But if they will find the car before somebody else finds me, that would be very bad, and then they found the car. Now we are 11 people inside that car. That's 10 men and me, driving towards Gaza. I chose to close my eyes and not see what's happening ahead. But the terrorist next to me, he was very much excited, and he really wanted me to see how it looks like. And he forced me to open my eyes. And then I saw the entrance to Gaza. I lived in a coexisting city. I live in Beersheba in Israel, and we have our neighbors and our people in school, and we have arms all over. What I saw at that moment was 100% of civilian celebrating evil, screaming, God is great, but I'm the only one coming in. That's how I thought. I thought I'm the trophy going into Gaza right now, and I know the drill from now on. Well, the car stopped in the middle of the crowd, and the door opened. And I felt like somebody was trying to pull me by the leg, and I felt iron pipes to my knees. And I had no way to protect myself, but I had long nails. And I thought to myself that I'm gonna grab the person that I sit on so hard that if somebody will try to pull me again, I'll use him as the human weight. And probably hurt me, because it's the Iskrin Khalas. That means stop. Somebody came to close that door, somebody jumped into the driver's seat, and I was saved from this situation, from that situation. I know it's very twisted to say saved when you're in the middle of Gaza, but I was counting the miracles that happened to me that day. If it's in the Nova area, when the officer came to me, she asked me to go with her to one of the death shelters, and I refused. And she did not go there with us. And it is still my friends that asked me to go hide under the stage or in the bar, which is logically a very good place to hide. I refused. And everybody knows what happened in there. So I was counting the miracles that happened to me. I had to, so I can deal with what's coming. They took me to the hospital. There was a lot of mess in that room. But at that moment, I was sure they're gonna kill me, but at that moment, I saw one person putting a cast on my leg, not knowing that I even injured my leg. And I said to myself, you are not being killed now. You have to remember everything. I was covered with a sheet and took off from the hospital to the first house, thrown to the mattress. When they took the sheet off, I saw an investigator standing in front of my face, smiling. And I still allowed myself to be hysterical, emotional, crying, and he was smiling. At some point, he got impatient, and he kept asking me, where do you serve? Where do you serve? And I didn't understand why he was asking me, where do I serve? I'm old. But he's asking again, where do you serve? And where did I tent? And then I looked down, and I saw that I chose to wear a green army look-alike uniform and army boots. And I stopped crying really fast. I was declared a soldier very fast, and no matter how much I tried to explain that this is a fashion, and I'm a jewelry designer, they didn't really understand, and I didn't really have nobody to talk to. So I understood that I'm in a severe problem, and I need to calm down really fast and understand what I'm doing from now on. Till that point, I was by myself. But then they entered the room, this young girl, barefoot with her pajama, bright hair, bright skin, bright eyes. Well, she's for sure not Arab. And when they put her inside that room, I was not allowed to talk to her for 3 whole days. So I didn't know who she was, and she didn't know who I was. She actually thought I'm one of them at the beginning. But I said, in a twisted way, I said, thank you. Because when she entered the room, I understood immediately that I have to protect her. And if I have to protect her, then I have to protect myself first. So for me, it was like an anchor, something protecting me that twisted way. And I did everything I could from the beginning. Now I'm going to sum up really fast all the physical conditions, because that was not the issue for me. I broke my 2 legs. I had severe lysis all over my body. I had bruises and scars. I lost eventually half of my hearing. I literally need to carry hearing devices, but sometimes it's really nice not to hear everything. I lost 12% of my body weight, which is 8 kilos in 54 days. And all of that is nothing. And I don't have a memory of pain, because when you're surviving, it doesn't matter. The war was against them every day, mentally. Every day they came to me and said that I'm not gonna go home. Even if there will be a ceasefire, I'm a soldier, I'm not gonna go home. Nobody's looking for you, your family is not looking for you, nobody's caring about you. And it was easy to believe them, but I was fighting for myself. I always share this one beautiful moment that is built out of 54 days, but we don't have that much time, so I pick up some of the story that built that moment. But the first one, I want you to picture that Jewish girl in the Holocaust. that went to entertain or play with the children just to bring to her friends food, medicine, water, information, everything she could find. That was me. I used to sit down with them for hours, playing with them cards, entertaining them, teaching them English, teaching them some Hebrew, trying to lash at them in Hebrew that I don't understand. But I had to entertain them. And I'm still more open. So one day, they did it for like 13 hours, and I was hungry. And I probably said something wrong, because in a fracture of a moment, there was a gun pointed to my head. That's reality. And that day, eventually, he didn't shoot. And that was another miracle that I added to my list. You need to understand that every single morning, every afternoon, and every night, I sat down to say dozens of times, Moran, because it was not obvious. I felt like I woke up every hour. It's not obvious that I survived the night when we are in the 6th floor and there is 200 to 300 bombs every night. When our window shattered on the 2nd day and the building next to us crashed down on the 3rd day. So it's not obvious. Thank you for that. But it's not obvious that we survived half a day because we don't know what will happen to them today or what happened in television, who said what that will affect their behavior on us. It's not obvious that I survived the evening, but I'm sure that I got enough waters and enough food to survive another day. So I kept saying Modani every time I could. There was one morning that I woke up a little bit optimistic, and I smelled the smell coming out from the kitchen that it felt familiar. And when the guy came into the room, I saw this dish that I know from my Egyptian side. And the 2 other girls, they didn't want to eat it. They didn't want to touch it. So I was even more happy. I ate everything. I was pleased, and I felt full for a second. 2 hours later, I got a severe food poison because those cans were expired like many things they gave us. After a few hours, I couldn't move anymore, and I didn't know how am I going to survive the next day when I have only 20 milliliters of salty water for 2 days, and I can't eat anything because my body rejected it. When I reached it that night, my pulse was 180, and I couldn't stand anymore. And I really felt that this is the end. And when I woke up in the morning, I was shocked. I couldn't speak anymore. I couldn't even speak in my thought. But I was shocked. And I felt like now it's going to be the end. We were not exposed to television nor radio, but sometimes the terrorist used to play with his transistor, and when he switched the stations, sometimes he used to pick an Israeli station just for a second before he switched it on. He entered the room, he leaned on top of me and to see if I'm still breathing, and he played with his radio, and then he stopped on an Israeli station right on the next part. He stopped on a song, an Israeli song, I'll say it in Hebrew, Shema Yisrael Elohim, Atak Kol Echad, and then he switched the station. My God, you're great, you could do everything. Me and the other hostage immediately picked our head, smiled to each other, believing this is a message for us. And somehow, by the end of that day, after singing it repeatedly in my head, changing the words of the song, saying that I have all the power in the world, repeatedly, eventually, somehow, I survived that day as well. I managed to eat a little bit, I managed to drink a little bit. On my first story, that was not an optimistic morning. There was one morning that I started to say Yanai and I couldn't continue. I stopped. I said, I believe in you, but today I'm angry, so angry. And today I'll get to ask all the right questions. Why am I still here? Why there is so much evil in the world? Why is it happening to us? But I also learned in times that why question doesn't get you to nowhere. And I remember that maybe they took everything from me. They took my body, my freedom, my will of choice, my business, even my name. But they didn't take one thing. They didn't take two things. They didn't take my imagination. They can't. And they can't take my faithfully. So I closed my eyes, and I know how to do guided imagination. And it was Friday, and I sent myself to my mother's house. She's Moroccan, remember? That's tons of food, and tons of color, and smell. And I remember how it feels like. And I remember how it feels like to hug her, or how my father sounds when he does the kiddush, or how they argue after the kiddush sounds like, and the laughter. And my body, I mean the imagination, our imagination doesn't know when you close your eyes, it doesn't know to tell between imagination and real life, if you know how to work all the senses. So for 1 second, I smiled. And for 1 second, I was not hungry anymore, not frustrated. I was happy. But then I heard my name again and again and again from the outside. Choose to open my eyes. I see the terrorist putting a plate on the floor with half a dry pita, 30 grams of chalva. I don't have water that day, and I really don't like chalva. You don't get to have an option, and you eat. And I cried, but it's very forbidden to cry. Extremely forbidden to express any emotion. So when I cried, they entered the room and they chose to punish me. When they pushed me back to the mattress, I saw that mark that I had on my head, but I saw it on the wall above my head. And I smiled because I was sure that I lost it. I was sure that I'm imagining it, and that's it, I lost it. The terrorist looked at me when I smiled. He didn't understand my reaction, and he stopped and left the room. And that was another miracle for me. But when he left the room, I called the other hostage and telling her that she needs to protect herself from now on, because I think I went crazy. But she said she see it. She even marked it with her fingers, and that was another sign for us. That moment that I was speaking about before, that was a moment after another thing happened, and another time we survived it. I entered the bathroom because that's the only private place we have, and only for 1 minute before somebody comes to open the door. I looked to the ceiling and I pictured the sky, and I smiled, and I said, well, I give up, but in the most positive way. I surrender. I understand you, and I'm with you. Whatever you choose, dead or alive. Now, I'm living the same way, the true reality, but I trust you. I'm not giving no promises, but one, that from now on, no matter if I survive it or not, I'm going to spread this faith in any place I'll be at. On day 49, the terrorists entered the room and they asked us to put costumes on, and they told us that we're leaving, we're going home. So everybody was so excited but me. I felt bad. I felt like, don't get excited yet. It was a long way to the exchange point, And when we reached to the exchange point, 3 people, me and 2 girls, we were not allowed to speak to each other, and we were not allowed to pick our head up, to raise their head up. And all I heard is the 2 terrorists arguing with each other. And suddenly I felt like somebody's pulling my shirt from the back. He came closer to my ear and whispered, "Not you, not now." And then he dragged me back to an abandoned house in Gaza. I couldn't say goodbye to these 2 girls even, and they couldn't say goodbye to me either. I found myself in a dark place. I don't know for how long. I only know that I repeated mantra-wise that I know you're keeping me safe. I know I will be safe and sound. Because that was the most terrifying point in the entire captivity. Eventually they chose to take me from that house to another hostage's house. And when I came in there, if I had any rights till that point, then now even those rights are gone. I'm not allowed to drink, eat, go to the bathroom, talk to the other hostages if I wasn't given a permission to. But only me. Because they really believe that I'm a big soldier in a big rank, in high ranks. And they didn't believe me saying that I'm just an artist. There was one person in that room that I had promised to take his name in any place I will go to. Itai Swirsky was 38 years old. He's a culture and a very much productive person. He obeyed them and did everything they asked him to. Itai came to the room one day and he was a little bit shivering, and he said that I'm in a problem because they're saying that in the computer it says that I'm a soldier and I'm not gonna leave. He said he promised that when he will be released, he'll do everything he could do to help me. Itai was murdered 2 months after I was released, and Itai will not come back home. But I promised that I would do everything that I could for the rest of our friends that are still inside. Eventually, after almost not believing it, after almost giving up, eventually he entered the room, the terrorist, one day. He pointed at me and he said, "I'm going home." Eventually, after a very long way, I got the privilege to see the Red Cross. And I had the right to go on those jeeps, still not believing that I'm going home. Very much sure that now somebody will come, because they told me 4 times that I'm gonna go home. I was sure that somebody will come now and say, "I'm sorry, we got confused." But eventually I saw that border between Ghana and Egypt. And I got the right to pass it. When I saw that first officer, wait, I'll share something new with you. The only prayer that I remember was the extend prayer to the candlelight. And that prayer ends, "B'zchut Sarah u'ishka u'le'at notenu." And I kept repeating this prayer until I chose to use it as my own mantra, because what it says, "Please have mercy on us. Please teach us how to do good. Please protect our houses. Please put your essence between us. And please give me the right to raise children, and that in the right of our mothers." Well, I crossed that border. The first officer that came to me, her name was Rivka. She was there to tell me that my family survived, everybody's okay, also my animal. And I screamed because I was allowed. When I reached the hospital, the psychiatrist and the head doctor and the psychologist, all 3 of them, were Rachel, and they were there to protect me as well. My sister that she is the huge lioness that you saw before, that stuck her life and fought for me so hard. Her name is Yanai. My name was taken in captivity, and all of us received our names as code names. But my name that they gave me was Salam. And I felt like I was protected every single day with all these mothers around me. And I had the right to go back to my mother, which was the only thing that I could picture and grab on to believe that I'll see her again. Now, I left Gaza with some insights that I want to share with you. The first one is that I really want you to understand the difference between us and them. We are an individual Jewish people, and that's very beautiful. Each and every one of us has different dreams, goals, different likes and dislikes, and that's what grows us as a society. That's what makes us develop really fast, and that's amazing. The civilians in Gaza are waking up every single morning for 20 years to the same two pictures hanging on the wall, one of Jerusalem, one of that shaheed. You know what is a shaheed? Well, a shaheed is a person that died to the purpose. Two pictures. It's not allowed to say Jerusalem, it's just a Quds. And those two pictures is their day mantra, including elimination, extermination, and all their beliefs. The difference between us and them is that they share one purpose. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, but they share one purpose, one joint purpose. We as human beings in this beautiful community, the Jewish people all over the world and the Israelis, we have to share the same purpose. And that purpose is to be free in our country. It's not a shaming one. It's to be able to walk free in the street, wearing Star of David, speaking my Hebrew, no hiding. That's how it's supposed to be. So please share the same purpose, which means just to be free. My second message for you all is, I was released in the middle of the night, 3:30 in the morning. It was really late. But when we got into Israel, I saw thousands of people standing in the streets, barefoot, pajamas, all of them carrying flags of Israel, celebrating as if I'm their best friend, as if I'm their sister. But I don't know them, and all of them know me. And I cried for the first time, because that was beautiful to see that our people joined together. And at that moment, I remember I said it out loud, and I know that other hostages said it as well. We are willing to go through our captivity even more 5 times, if that's the result. But I'm here to say that we have this amazing ability to bet on each other. Let's do it not only at that time, but let's do it also in good times. And let's choose our battles. For the third one, and third and last message for you, coming from a girl that went through abuse. And she heard all the testimonies and all what we went through in there. And she asked me to go on with this message in any place I go to. If you have a point in your head that you want to feel sorry for us, although I'm sharing this message for 1.5 years now, and I truly believe that maybe today, not all of us think that way. Not all of us feel sorry for us. Not all of you think that we'll not survive, I'm sure of it. But if there is some of you that are still feeling sorry for us, or thinking that nothing is left from the people that are still inside, then I'm here to state, if there is anyone surviving captivity till today, that's the strongest person you'll ever meet, because they have the strongest purpose ever. He has something to survive to, which means he's the biggest hero in my life. I can't wait until they come out that I can meet my own heroes. I want to share my very much private moment with you, because I believe that after many words, you should get some video. I'm going to share with you my private moment. And I want you to know that being in captivity, everybody shares the energy. We don't know how to explain it, but it's not like many people are thinking about us. Then use your energy to a good place. And I'm here to say that this whole change that we're looking for, it started with one person. That one person is you. When you wake up in the morning, what do you say to the first person you see? That's you in the mirror. Are you kind to that person? Are you good to that person? And after you manage to be kind or good to that person, take this kindness, take it to your neighbor, take it to your workplace, take it to school, take it to anywhere you can. Because that's the only way we can change a narrative. And it's our own responsibility. We have young and older in here. So to the oldest one, I'll say, we have a big responsibility now, and each and every one of us has this responsibility to make this place safer, because in 20 years they're gonna inherit this place.
Yep.
And to the youngest, I'll say, we live in a social media era, and we live in a time that anyone has something to say. Don't let anyone take your energy. Don't let anyone take your anger or manage your emotion. Be aware all the time and put everything that's happening in awareness, if it's an Instagram, TikTok, or whatever. This fight is not only a physical fight. In 2025, it's also a social media fight. So we need everybody. I'm going to share this moment with you.
Moran.
הנה תתפרק, שתתפרק קצת. תשכחי מהר עושים את דעת. מה סליחה?
הפחדתי אותך ולא יכולתי להתקשר אליך שוב.
הכל בסדר, הכל בסדר. נזכר שחזרת אלינו שלום. נזכר שחזרת אלינו. די, מה יש לי, די. בואי תראי. אני רוצה להכין קצת. עדי. בלך יום בלילה. בואי. תראי מחכה לך, בואי.
saw my mother screaming in happiness. I just wanted to see the funny part when she's doing a body check to see that her entire girl came back home. And I want to say one last thing because I was committed to take 2 names with me, and if they say go to it, the first one will be Texas, and the second one is Carmen. Carmen is 39 years old. She's an animal rescuer, and she's a positive person as well. She went through the journey in her life to become that better version that I was speaking about before. And she did everything by the book, like it said. And she did everything like me. In captivity, she behaved the same. Carmen, unfortunately, was shot multiple times and murdered in captivity, and she will not come back home. But Carmen and me is a replica. She's my mirror. We are the same person. And I will get to stay my entire life to be with this question of why me and not her. But I promise that I will live every day in the best way I can. And it means that if I have a bad day, that I don't want to go out from bed, taking my right leg from that bed is my best for today. So think about your life and what you're going to do with it and how you want to live it. And just do good. It's that simple. I'm going to open up for Q&A questions, and feel free to ask anything you want. And just raise your hand. An overshot.
We're just going to get someone started with these questions. Anyone who's courageous to begin with questions. Yes, please stand up, tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Dana Franco. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Very greatly appreciate it very much. I've heard like you've been going to college campuses where Shai mentioned that. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how your experience has been and lessons you've made to that type of crowd?
Well, I learned in time that I love going to Jewish communities, and I did it all over the world, but if you want to make a change, we need to engage and start a conversation with the other side. And I will talk specifically about that UCLA boy, although I've been in touring now 5 different campuses in Philly, in Texas, in Ohio, Michigan.
Just this week.
Just this week, yeah. Just this week. But the UCLA guy, he really taught me a big lesson. When we put this event, we put it on a neutral place, and we invited both of the sides. We invited pro-Israel and pro-Palestine. 300 people came. It was a small room, very, very crowded, but 300 people were pro-Israel. None of them was pro-Palestinian, except for that guy. So he was sitting, and I was not supposed to participate in that debate. I was sitting in the crowd. And I watched how, again, one person get 300 people going insane, going crazy, angry, screaming, do whatever. And it's just one person. So we're giving, again, that power to one person. And I admit that I even got mad because he reached to a point that he said that we have concentration camps in Israel and that Arabs cannot walk in the street without somebody who act as anti-Semitism. And I had to go on the stage. And if you see in that video, there is 1 second that I take a huge break. That was not for nothing. That's practice that I learned in time, because there is no possibility that one person with dark, limited thoughts will control on how I feel or behave. That's what I'm saying. Not pro-Palestinian, not your best friend, and not your neighbor, and not even your parents, okay? Because we need to control our energy, and that's a tool that you can learn, actually. So I really believe that we have to engage very fast, especially with the younger generation in the campuses, because they are based on Instagram algorithm. So we are now under the hands of who will speak next to a person, what he will speak about, and then that's it, we started. So I think we need to bring a lot of more awareness in that situation.
Anyone else? Yes, stand up, tell us who you are. Yeah.
I'm Sam Hurston. I was wondering what happens to like the girls who are homeless. In your opinion?
The girl that was with me, all the girls that was with me were released back home, and except for the guy. All of my friends were the ones that survived. Like, I was the only one being caught. Any more questions?
Yes.
Yeah, still selling jewelry.
I have this question every single time. So I learned that I'm a speaker in the past year and a half. I didn't create nothing, but this 25th, April 25th will be the first time that I'm going to recreate my table as a part of an exhibition between October 7th and the Holocaust. And I have more creations in there, and it's going to be on Instagram soon. Yes?
You told us how before I was understanding that you felt like you had a just like advocate group. I feel like
Sure.
She said you felt before October 7th that you had a purpose. How did you feel change?
How do I feel that it changed for today? Well, it got even stronger. I mean, my purpose at the beginning with was be able to create myself environment that is on the same frequency as me. And I've been in 60 different countries, even more. I've been in, just in the US, I've been in 31 different communities. I've been in many places. I still truly believe that if I'll not seek for a negative, I'll not see it. Everybody was speaking about the anti-Semitism that happened all over the world. As long as I didn't look for it, I didn't see it. But I looked for it one time. And a day after I was speaking about it, I was caught in the middle of a demonstration in Australia between thousands of Palestinians screaming Intifada. After, again, I didn't look for it in my head. I think that what we are summoned to our life is that what we'll get out from the outside. So I still truly believe that I want to create this positive environment for me, my friends, my family. We'll do last question. Anyone? Yeah.
When they were saving you, what was your first thought?
That's a beautiful question. I actually told it to you yesterday. My first thought was, if I'm here, he will never put me in a situation that I don't have the tools to deal with. I truly believe that any situation, hard as it be, any situation that I'll be caught at, I have the way to deal with it. So that's the first thing I told myself. You have all the tools to deal with this situation. You just must believe. Keep on believing and not breaking and not stop to believe that I will get home eventually. Thank you so much again for coming.
Thank you to everyone for coming and for joining us this morning, and thank you to Moran for giving so much of yourself